The nobody at her table. I used to believe love could survive anything. I was wrong. I met Victoria Sterling 3 years ago in a coffee shop where she accidentally spilled an expensive-looking drink across my laptop. She stared at the ruined keyboard. Then she looked at me and said, "Don't panic." I blinked. "My laptop is dead." I said, "Don't panic. You just killed it. I'll buy you a new one." "I don't want a new one." She frowned. "Then what do you want?" "An apology." She stared at me for 3 seconds. "I'm sorry." I smiled. "That wasn't so hard." She picked up her bag. "Good. We're done." "Wait." She stopped. "Now you're leaving? You got your apology. I thought we were having a conversation." "We are." "This doesn't feel like one." She looked amused. "What's your name?" "Ethan." "Ethan what?" "Why?" "So I can remember the name of the man whose laptop I murdered." "Ethan Cole." "Victoria Sterling." I almost laughed. "You're famous." She raised an eyebrow. "Is that a problem?" "No." "Good." Then she walked away. I watched her leave and thought, that woman is trouble. I had no idea how right I was. Victoria lived in a world I had only seen in magazines. Private jets. Luxury towers. Black cars waiting outside private clubs. Business meetings where people discussed billions of dollars as casually as I discussed dinner. I lived differently. I drove an old car. I wore simple clothes. I liked cheap coffee and quiet evenings. I never told Victoria that I owned Apex Dynamics. I wanted something simple. I wanted her to love Ethan. Not my company. Not my money. Not my name. Just me. At first she did. Or at least I believed she did. "You know you're strange," she told me once. I looked at her. "Why?" "You're dating a billionaire, but you refuse to let me pay for dinner." "Because I can pay." "With your old car?" "That car has character. That car has rust." "Same thing." She laughed. I loved that laugh. I loved the way she looked at me when she forgot about the world. But slowly something changed. It started with small things. "Don't wear that shirt." "Why?" "We're meeting investors." So you can't dress like that." "Like what?" "Like you don't care." "I don't care what they think." Victoria sighed. "That's exactly the problem." "What problem?" "You don't understand my world." "I understand enough." "No, Ethan. You don't." I remembered that conversation as I sat beside her at the most important dinner of our relationship. Her father, Daniel Sterling, had invited us to a private restaurant overlooking the city. The table was filled with powerful people. Investors. Business partners. Old family friends. Victoria sat beside me. She looked nervous. I leaned closer. "Are you okay?" "Yes." "You're lying." She glanced at me. "Don't start." "I'm serious." "I'm fine." "Then why are you squeezing your glass?" She immediately released it. "I have a difficult negotiation tonight." "I know." "Then let me handle it." "I'm not trying to interfere." "Good. I just want to support you." She looked at me. "I know." I smiled. "Then relax." She whispered, "I can't." "Why?" "My father wants me to accept the deal." "And you don't?" "No." "Then don't." "It's complicated." "Everything is complicated when rich people are involved." She almost smiled. "You're impossible." "I've been told." Dinner continued. Then Daniel raised his glass. "To new opportunities." Everyone lifted their glasses. I watched Victoria remain silent. One of the investors, Adrian Blake, leaned forward. "Victoria, your hesitation is becoming a problem." She looked at him. "I'm not hesitant." "Then why haven't you signed?" "Because the terms are unfavorable." Adrian smiled. "The terms are generous." "Not for Sterling Global." I leaned closer. "She's right." The table went quiet. Victoria immediately looked at me. I realized I had spoken too loudly. Adrian stared at me. "And you are?" I opened my mouth. Before I could answer, Victoria spoke. "He's nobody important." Everything stopped. I stared at her. For a moment I thought I had heard wrong. Adrian smiled. "Nobody important?" Victoria laughed nervously. "He's just my boyfriend." I felt something inside me crack. Just my boyfriend. I looked at her. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Adrian chuckled. "Then perhaps he shouldn't interrupt business discussions." I swallowed. "Perhaps." Victoria finally looked at me. "Ethan, please don't make this awkward." I stared at her. "Me?" "Yes." I almost laughed. "You just called me nobody." Her face tightened. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? Not here. I looked around the table. Everyone was watching. Daniel remained silent. Adrian smiled. So, Ethan, what exactly do you do? I looked at Victoria. She answered for me. Nothing related to Sterling. Adrian laughed. Someone else joined him. Then Victoria laughed too. That hurt more than everything else. I stood. Victoria grabbed my wrist. Where are you going? Home. Ethan. I'll see you later. Sit down. I looked at her. Why? Because you're embarrassing me. The words hit me harder than the first insult. I slowly pulled my wrist free. I'm sorry. Then I walked away. I didn't look back. Outside, the cold air hit my face. I stood beside the street, staring at the lights. My phone rang. Marcus. I answered. Hello? Ethan? Yeah. Where are you? Outside. Outside where? Victoria's dinner. Why? I stayed silent. Marcus's voice changed. What happened? I swallowed. Nothing. Ethan. She called me nobody. Silence. I continued. In front of everyone. Ethan, I'm sorry. Don't be. What else happened? She said I wasn't important. Did she? Yes. And you left? Yes. Marcus sighed. Come home. I looked at the restaurant. I can't. Why? Because I don't know what home is anymore. Ethan. I finally admitted what I had been trying to avoid. She didn't just embarrass me. My voice broke. She erased me. Marcus said nothing. I ended the call. For 10 minutes I stood alone. Then my phone buzzed. A message from Victoria. Victoria asterisk, where are you? I stared at it. Another message appeared. Victoria asterisk, please come home. Then another. Victoria asterisk, we need to talk about our future. I read those words again. Our future. I should have felt relieved. Instead, fear settled inside me. Because I knew Victoria. And I knew what happened when she became afraid. She protected herself. She protected her reputation. She protected her world. And suddenly, I wondered if tonight had been more than an embarrassing dinner. Maybe Victoria had already made her decision. Maybe she wanted to end our relationship. Maybe calling me nobody had been her first step toward removing me from her life. I looked at her final message. Victoria asterisk, please come home. I need to talk to you. I locked my phone. For 3 years, I had believed I was part of Victoria's future. That night, standing alone beneath the city lights, I wasn't sure I belonged in her present anymore. I started walking toward my car. I still loved her. That was the worst part. Because I knew I was about to return to the woman who had erased me. And I had no idea whether she wanted to apologize or say goodbye. 3 years of love meant nothing. I returned to Victoria's penthouse just before midnight. I expected anger. I expected questions. Most of all, I expected an apology. Instead, Victoria was sitting on the sofa, scrolling through her phone as if nothing had happened. She looked up. You're finally home. I stopped near the door. Finally? She frowned. Yes. I've been waiting. I stared at her. That's all you have to say? About what? I couldn't believe it. Victoria. What? You called me nobody tonight. She sighed. Ethan, you're making this bigger than it was. Bigger? Yes. You humiliated me in front of your father, your investors, and everyone you know. I didn't humiliate you. You said I was nobody. I said you weren't important to the business. That's not what you said. That's what I meant. No. She put her phone down. You're misunderstanding the situation. I laughed bitterly. Then explain it. I was protecting you. Protecting me? Yes. From what? From being dragged into a business conversation you don't understand. I stared at her. You think I don't understand business? I think you don't understand my world. There it is again. What? Your world. I stepped closer. You keep talking about your world like I'm some stranger standing outside the door. Because you are. The words stunned me. Victoria immediately looked away. I lowered my voice. Then why did you ask me to come home? Because I wanted to talk. About what? About us. Our future? Yes. I looked at her. Do we have one? Her expression changed. Of course. After tonight? You're being emotional. I'm being honest. Ethan, I had investors watching me. So I couldn't let them think I was distracted by my personal life. I stared at her. Your personal life? That's not what I meant. I'm your boyfriend. I know. Your boyfriend of 3 years. I know. And you couldn't even say my name. She stood. Because they were judging me. No. She frowned. No. They were judging you because you care more about their opinion than mine. That's unfair. Is it? Yes. Then tell me what I am. Ethan. Tell me. You're my boyfriend. Tonight I was nobody. That's not true. You said it. I was under pressure. So was I. I had millions of dollars at stake. And I had my dignity. She stared at me. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. I know. No, you don't. I felt my voice breaking. You don't know what it felt like. Ethan, everyone laughed. I didn't laugh at you. I stared at her. You did. She became silent. I heard you. I was nervous. You laughed. I didn't know what else to do. You could have defended me. I couldn't. Why? Because I had investors watching. I shook my head. Again. What? Again, it's always them. I pointed toward the window. Your investors. Your father. Your business partners. Your friends. Everyone matters. I touched my chest. Except me. That's not true. Then prove it. How? Tell me I matter. She stared at me. You matter. Do I? Yes. More than your reputation? She didn't answer. I laughed quietly. That's what I thought. Ethan, stop. No. I walked toward her. Do you remember your mother's funeral? Victoria froze. Don't. I was there. I know. Do you remember what happened that night? Please. You couldn't breathe. Her eyes filled with tears. You kept saying you wanted your mother. Stop. I stayed with you until morning. I know. You wouldn't let anyone else touch you. I know. You held my hand. She looked down. I remember. You said you were afraid of being alone. I was. And I told you that you never had to be alone again. She started crying. I continued. Do you remember? Yes. Where was your reputation that night? She said nothing. Where were your investors? Ethan. Where was your perfect world? Stop. Her voice shook the room. I went silent. She wiped her tears. You don't understand. Then explain it. My mother was everything to me. I know. When she died, I lost control. I know. I couldn't think. I know. And you stayed. Yes. You stayed when everyone else left. Yes. You saw me at my worst. Yes. She looked at me. Then why are you using that against me? I'm not. It sounds like you are. I'm reminding you. Of what? Of what we were. She looked away. I swallowed. When your company nearly collapsed, who stayed? You did. Who sat beside you every night? You did. Who listened when you cried? I did. Who told you not to give up? I did. Who never asked you for a single dollar? You didn't. Who loved you when you had nothing left to give? She closed her eyes. You did. I whispered, exactly. Silence filled the penthouse. I looked at her. I never wanted your money. I know. I never wanted your company. I know. I never wanted your private jets. I know. I wanted one thing. She looked at me. What? Respect. Her lips trembled. I respected you. No. Yes. No, Victoria. I shook my head. You respected what I did for you. That's not true. Then why couldn't you respect me in front of them? She couldn't answer. I waited. Finally she whispered, because I was afraid. Of what? Of losing everything. You were afraid of losing your company. Yes. Your position. Yes. Your reputation. Yes. But not me. That's not fair. Isn't it? She looked at me. Ethan, you don't understand my world. I froze. She continued. You were never meant to be part of it. The words destroyed something inside me. I stared at her. For 3 years, I had believed I was building a life with her. Now I understood. I had only been visiting hers. I nodded slowly. Okay. Victoria's expression changed. Ethan. No. Please. I walked toward the bedroom. What are you doing? Getting my things. Don't leave. You just told me I was never meant to be here. I didn't mean it. You did. I was angry. So was I. Ethan, wait. I pulled my old backpack from the closet. I placed a few clothes inside. Victoria stood behind me. Where will you go? I don't know. You can stay here. I stopped. Why? Because this is your home too. I looked at her. No, Ethan. It never was. I walked past her. She grabbed my arm. Don't do this. I gently pulled away. Goodbye, Victoria. I left the penthouse. Outside I called Marcus. He answered immediately. Where are you? Outside. Again? Yeah. What happened? I left. Why? Because she told me I didn't belong in her world. Marcus went quiet. Then he said, come to my place. I arrived 20 minutes later. Marcus opened the door. He looked at my backpack. That's everything? Apparently. He stepped aside. I entered. Marcus stared at me. You're really going to let her do this? Do what? Make you feel worthless. She didn't. Ethan. She just told me the truth. No. He pointed at me. Listen to me. I looked at him. You don't need to beg someone to recognize your worth. I said nothing. Marcus continued. You're better than this. Am I? Yes. He stared at me. Do you remember who you were before Victoria? Yes. Then act like him. I sat down. Marcus looked at my backpack. 3 years. What? 3 years and she still doesn't know. I looked at him. Know what? Who you really are. I remained silent. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Ethan. I took a breath. There's something I've never told Victoria. Something? Something I've never told almost anyone. What? I looked at him. I founded Apex Dynamics. Marcus stared at me. I know. I frowned. What? I know. How? I'm your best friend. I laughed. You knew? Of course. Since when? Since the beginning. I shook my head. Then you understand. Understand what? Why I hid it. Marcus sat beside me. You wanted her to love you without knowing you were rich. Yes. How rich? I looked away. Rich enough. Ethan. Apex is preparing for its biggest public deal. I know. Once it closes, everyone will know my name. Marcus stared at me. And Victoria? She'll find out. When? I looked toward the window. Eventually. Are you going to tell her? I thought about the dinner. Her voice. He's nobody important. I closed my eyes. No. Marcus frowned. No. Not yet. Why? Because I don't want her to come back because of my money. What if she comes back anyway? Then I'll know she came back for me. Marcus nodded slowly. I stood. Where are you going? Away. From here? From Victoria. For how long? As long as it takes. To do what? To forget. Marcus looked at me. You don't forget someone you love. Then I'll learn how to live without her. I picked up my backpack. Marcus didn't stop me. As I walked toward the door, he said, Ethan. I turned. Don't disappear because she told you you're nobody. I looked at him. Then why? Disappear because you finally understand that you deserve better. I nodded. Maybe that's what I'm doing. I stepped outside. The night air felt cold. For 3 years I had built my life around Victoria. Now I was going to remove myself from hers. She wanted someone who belonged in her world. Fine. I would give her exactly what she wanted. Nothing. No calls. No explanations. No secret identity. No rescue. No Ethan waiting outside her door. I would disappear. And if Victoria ever wondered where the man she called nobody had gone, I would let her wonder. Because for the first time in 3 years I wasn't going to chase her. I was going to choose myself. I spent the first week after leaving Victoria pretending I was fine. I wasn't. Every morning I woke up thinking about her. Every night I remembered the same sentence. You were never meant to be part of my world. I hated how much those words still hurt. I hated even more that I still loved the woman who had spoken them. Marcus found me in the small apartment I had rented. He looked around. You're living here now? Temporarily. There's one chair. I don't need two. There's no television. I don't watch television. There's nothing in your refrigerator. I eat outside. Marcus stared at me. You're miserable. I'm busy. You're hiding. I'm thinking. You're avoiding the truth. I looked at him. Which truth? You miss her. I said nothing. Marcus nodded. Exactly. I don't want to talk about Victoria. Fine. He placed a folder on the table. Then let's talk about Apex. I looked at the folder. What about it? You have a company to run. I know. No, Ethan. You have a company preparing for the biggest deal in its history. I opened the folder. How much time? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Yes. I started reading. Marcus continued. The public offering is moving forward. Good. The board wants you visible. No. Ethan. I said no. You can't hide forever. I've hidden for 3 years. Exactly. I looked at him. That's long enough. Then step into your role. I closed the folder. I'm ready. Marcus smiled. Finally. The next morning I walked into Apex Dynamics headquarters. For the first time I didn't enter through the private elevator. I walked through the main entrance. The receptionist stood immediately. Good morning, Mr. Cole. Good morning. She looked nervous. I smiled. Relax. Sorry. Why are you apologizing? I've never seen you here. Then you have now. I walked toward the elevators. Marcus followed. That was dramatic. I was walking. You walked differently. How? Like a CEO. I pressed the elevator button. I'm always the CEO. Not publicly. That's changing. The elevator doors opened. We entered. Marcus looked at me. Are you sure? Yes. Because once your identity becomes public, you can't take it back. I know. Victoria will find out. I know. Everyone will. I know. The elevator stopped. I stepped out. The executive floor was waiting. My employees stood when I entered. I stopped. Please sit. Everyone sat. I looked around the conference room. 3 years ago I had built Apex from nothing. I had hidden behind other executives. I had let my board speak for me. I had watched my company become one of the fastest growing technology firms in the country. Now I was finally taking my seat. Marcus placed a file in front of me. Let's begin. I opened it. What are the risks? Market volatility. Next. Investor pressure. Next. Sterling Global. I stopped. Explain. Marcus looked at me. Sterling is expanding into our sector. How? Through a merger. With whom? Blake Holdings. My hand tightened around the pen. Adrian. Yes. I looked at the report. How much control? Potentially enough to challenge us. Potentially? If the merger succeeds. Will it? Marcus hesitated. I don't know. Find out. Already working on it. I looked at another document. Who is negotiating for Sterling? Victoria. I stopped reading. Marcus watched me. I closed the file. Continue. Ethan. Continue. She'll be meeting our team. I know. She doesn't know it's you. I know. Are you okay? I looked at him. Ask me a different question. Do you still love her? I stared at the table. That's not a business question. No. It's a dangerous question. Why? Because the answer is yes. Marcus leaned back. Then you're walking into a trap. No. You're going to sit across from the woman who broke your heart. Yes. You're going to negotiate against her company. Yes. While she doesn't know you're the man behind Apex. Correct. That's a trap. I looked at him. No. What is it? An opportunity. For revenge. No. For what? Truth. Marcus shook his head. You're still trying to convince yourself. About what? That you don't want her to regret losing you. I looked away. Maybe I do. That's honest. Don't get comfortable. He laughed. There's the Ethan I know. For the next 2 weeks, I worked harder than I had in years. I met investors. I reviewed contracts. I prepared for the public announcement. Everywhere I went, people talked about Apex Dynamics. But no one knew the truth. The mysterious founder. The private CEO. The man behind the company. Me. One evening, I returned to my office. My phone was waiting on the desk. 3 missed calls. All from Victoria. I stared at the screen. Then a message appeared. Victoria *, please call me. Another followed. Victoria *, I know you're angry. Then another. Victoria *, I want to explain. I locked my phone. Marcus walked in. You're ignoring her. Yes. How many messages? Enough. Are you going to answer? No. Why? I looked at the phone. Because I know what happens when I answer. What? I start hoping. Marcus nodded. That's fair. My phone buzzed again. I didn't touch it. Marcus looked at me. You don't have to be cruel. I'm not. Then answer her. No. Why? Because she didn't miss me when I was standing beside her. I looked at the screen. She misses me now because I'm gone. Marcus said nothing. The next morning someone called me. Mr. Cole? Yes. My name is Sarah. I recognized the voice. Victoria's assistant. Yes. Why are you calling me? I shouldn't be. Then don't. Ethan, please. I became silent. Sarah continued. She asks about you every day. I closed my eyes. That's not my problem. I know. Then why tell me? Because she isn't sleeping. I said nothing. She keeps asking if you've called. I haven't. I know. Sarah. Yes. Don't do this. Do what? Try to make me feel guilty. I'm not. Then what are you doing? I'm telling you the truth. What truth? She misses you. I swallowed. She didn't miss me when I was standing beside her. Sarah became quiet. I continued. She misses me now because I'm gone. Maybe you're right. Sarah. But maybe she didn't understand what she had. I looked out the window. That's not an excuse. No. Then what is? Nothing. Her voice became softer. I just thought you should know. Thank you. I ended the call. For the rest of the day I couldn't concentrate. I remembered Victoria's apartment. Her coffee cup beside mine. Her clothes in my closet. Her voice asking me to stay. I remembered everything. And I hated that I still wanted her. That night I finally admitted the truth to myself. My greatest weakness wasn't money. It wasn't love. It was the fact that I could forgive Victoria if she gave me one real reason. That terrified me. The next morning Marcus entered my office. We have the invitation. I looked up. What invitation? The strategy meeting. Who is attending? Sterling Global. My heart stopped. Who represents them? Marcus looked at me. Victoria. I stared at the invitation. When? Friday. Where? Sterling Tower. I picked up the document. Who knows I'm attending? The board. Does Sterling know? They know Apex's CEO will attend. Do they know my name? No. I smiled. Marcus looked uncomfortable. What? This is going to be interesting. Interesting? Victoria thinks she's meeting a company. She is. She doesn't know she's meeting me. Marcus sat down. Ethan. What? Are you going to expose yourself? I looked at him. No. Why? I placed the invitation on the desk. Because I want to see her face. Marcus raised an eyebrow. That's revenge. No. Then what is it? I smiled. I'm going to let her meet the man she called a nobody. Marcus stared at me. And when she realizes? I looked toward the city. Then we'll see what happens. My phone buzzed. Another message from Victoria. Victoria * Ethan, please come home. I stared at the words. For a moment I almost answered. Then I remembered the dinner. Her voice. Her laughter. Her words. I deleted the message. Friday couldn't come soon enough. Because for the first time since I met Victoria, I was going to enter her world on my own terms. I wouldn't be the boyfriend sitting quietly beside her. I wouldn't be the nobody she could erase with one sentence. I would be Ethan Cole, founder of Apex Dynamics, the man behind the company that could change Sterling Global's future. And when Victoria finally looked across that table and recognized me, I wanted one thing. Not revenge. Not an apology. Not even regret. I wanted her to understand that the man she had pushed outside her world had built a world of his own. And this time I would decide whether she was allowed inside. I stood outside Sterling Global's emergency boardroom with one hand on the door. Marcus stood beside me. You ready? No. He looked at me. That's honest. I'm ready to do it. That's different. I looked through the glass. Victoria sat at the head of the table. 3 years ago I had sat beside her at dinners like this. Today I was about to sit across from her. Marcus lowered his voice. Remember the plan. I know. You're here as the CEO of Apex. I know. Not her boyfriend. I know. Not her ex. I know. Not the man she hurt. I looked at him. That's the hardest part. Marcus nodded. Then don't forget who you are. I opened the door. The room went silent. I stepped inside. Every face turned toward me. Victoria looked up. The color disappeared from her face. I stopped. Our eyes met. For 1 second I forgot every plan I had made. Then I remembered the dinner. I remembered her voice. He's nobody important. I smiled politely. Good morning, Victoria. Her lips parted. Ethan? I walked toward the empty chair across from her. Good morning. She stared at me. You. I sat down. Victoria looked at Marcus. Then back at me. What's happening? I placed my folder on the table. I'm here for the meeting. You're the CEO? I looked at her. Ethan Cole. Founder and CEO of Apex Dynamics. No one moved. Daniel Sterling slowly stood. You? I looked at him. Good morning, Mr. Sterling. He stared at me. Apex Dynamics? Yes. You're the founder? Yes. Daniel looked toward Victoria. Then back at me. How? I smiled. That's a long story. Adrian Blake suddenly leaned forward. This is ridiculous. I turned toward him. Is it? You're telling me you're the CEO of Apex? That's exactly what I'm telling you. You expect us to believe this? I opened my folder. You don't have to believe me. Marcus placed several documents on the table. These are Apex's official filings. I looked at Adrian. You can verify everything. Victoria still hadn't spoken. I looked at her. Are we ready to begin? She finally found her voice. Ethan, we need to talk. About business? Privately? No. Her eyes widened. No. You called this meeting. I didn't know you would be here. Neither did I. What does that mean? It means I didn't know you were representing Sterling. Victoria stood. Ethan, please. I remained seated. Miss Sterling. She froze. I had never called her that before. She slowly sat down. Marcus looked at me. I continued. You wanted me out of your world. Victoria's face changed. So today let's keep this business. The room became painfully quiet. Daniel cleared his throat. Let's begin. Victoria looked at him. Father. We have a crisis. I opened the first document. Then let's discuss it. Adrian leaned back. Before we begin, I think we should understand why Apex is suddenly interested in Sterling. I looked at him. We aren't suddenly interested. What does that mean? We've been monitoring the market for years. And now you want Sterling? No. Adrian frowned. Then why are you here? Because you asked for help. We didn't ask you. I looked toward Victoria. She spoke quietly. We did. Adrian turned toward her. Victoria. We need the funding. You don't know what he's planning. I smiled. Do you? Adrian's expression hardened. You've been waiting for this. For what? For Sterling to collapse. I leaned back. Why would I want that? Because you want to destroy Victoria. I looked at Victoria. She stared at me. I turned back to Adrian. That's an interesting theory. You were rejected by her. The room became silent again. I slowly closed my folder. Adrian continued. Everyone knows you were together. Daniel looked shocked. Victoria? She looked at me. Ethan, I raised my hand. Don't. Adrian smiled. There it is. I looked at him. What? You're angry. Yes. You're using Apex to punish her. No. Then why are you here? Because Sterling is in trouble. And you benefit from that. Everyone benefits from a good deal. Adrian laughed. You're a liar. I looked at Marcus. How much time do we have? 20 minutes. Until what? Until the banks freeze the emergency credit line. Victoria's face tightened. What? I looked at her. You didn't know? No. Adrian immediately spoke. That's not confirmed. I turned toward him. It is. How? Because I have the numbers. Victoria looked at Adrian. Is this true? Victoria, don't listen to him. Answer me. Adrian hesitated. There's a temporary issue. A temporary issue? I opened another document. Your company has a $420 million liquidity gap. Victoria stared at me. That's impossible. No. I pushed the report forward. Your cash reserves were moved. Moved where? 3 accounts. Daniel leaned forward. What accounts? I looked at him. Accounts controlled by Blake Holdings. Daniel stood. What? Adrian's face changed. I continued. The money was transferred over 18 months. Victoria stared at Adrian. Adrian? He shook his head. That's not true. I looked at him. Then explain the transfers. I don't have to explain anything to you. You're right. I looked at Victoria. He does have to explain it to you. Adrian stood. This is a setup. I remained calm. You've been moving Sterling's money. No. You created debt. No. You weakened the company. You're lying. And then you proposed a merger. Adrian's face turned pale. Victoria slowly stood. Adrian. Victoria, listen to me. Did you move Sterling's money? No. Did you create those accounts? Answer me. Adrian looked toward Daniel. Daniel's voice was cold. Answer her. Adrian stepped back. This is manipulation. I said nothing. Victoria looked at me. You knew? Yes. How long? Long enough. Why didn't you tell me? I looked at her. Because you didn't ask. Her eyes filled with anger. You could have warned me. I could have. Then why didn't you? I paused. Because I wanted to see what you would do. She stared at me. Why? Because you made your choices. Ethan. You chose Adrian's advice. I didn't know. You chose your investors. I was trying to save the company. You chose your reputation. I was trying to survive. And I was supposed to save you? She became silent. I looked away. No. Victoria walked toward me. Ethan, please. I stood. She stopped. Don't. I need to explain. Not here. Then where? Nowhere. Her voice broke. Please don't do this. I looked at her. You wanted a professional relationship. I didn't mean it. You meant it that night. I was wrong. Yes. I was scared. Yes. I was stupid. Yes. I hurt you. Yes. She swallowed. Then punish me. I stared at her. I don't want to punish you. Then what do you want? Nothing. That answer hurt her. I could see it. She whispered, Nothing? Nothing. I returned to my seat. The room felt colder. Daniel looked at me. Mr. Cole, if your information is accurate, Sterling is facing a serious threat. Yes. Can Apex provide emergency financing? Yes. Under what terms? Standard terms. Adrian laughed. Of course. I looked at him. What? You're pretending to be a savior. No. You're buying Sterling while it's weak. No. You're taking advantage of Victoria? No. Then what are you doing? Offering a lifeline. Adrian pointed at me. You're doing this because she left you. I stayed silent. He stepped closer. You've manipulated this entire crisis. I looked at him. Have I? Yes. You should be more careful. Why? I reached into my briefcase. I removed a thick black folder. I placed it on the table. The sound echoed through the room. Adrian stared at it. What is that? I looked directly into his eyes. You should be more worried about what's inside this folder. Adrian's face changed. Victoria looked between us. Ethan. I didn't answer. Daniel slowly reached for the folder. May I? I placed my hand over it. Not yet. Why? Because once this folder is opened, everything changes. Adrian stepped backward. Victoria stared at me. What did you find? I looked at her. The truth. What truth? I turned toward Adrian. The kind that destroys people who think nobody is watching. Adrian's face went pale. I leaned back in my chair. For 3 years, I had been the man sitting quietly beside Victoria. Tonight I was sitting across from her. And for the first time she wasn't looking at me like I was nobody. She was looking at me like I was someone powerful enough to change her entire world. I looked down at the folder. Then I looked at Victoria. Let's finish the meeting. Nobody spoke. I smiled. After all, we're only discussing business. I opened the folder. Adrian immediately stood. Don't. I looked at him. Sit down. You have no authority here. Actually, I do. He laughed. You're trying to destroy me. No. I removed the first document. I'm showing them what you did. Victoria stared at me. What is that? Contract records. Adrian's face changed. I placed the papers on the table. These contracts were approved by Sterling Global. Daniel picked one up. What's wrong with them? I looked at him. The companies listed here don't exist. Daniel's eyes widened. What? I pointed to the signatures. The contracts were created to move money out of Sterling. Adrian shook his head. That's a lie. I placed another document beside it. Then explain this. He didn't answer. Victoria looked at him. Adrian? I don't know what he's talking about. I opened another file. Maybe this will help. I pushed the bank records forward. $300 million transferred through shell companies. Daniel stood. $300 million? I nodded. Over 18 months. Victoria stared at the documents. Where did the money go? I looked at Adrian. Ask him. Adrian stepped backward. Victoria, you have to understand. Understand what? This is complicated. No. Her voice became cold. It's very simple. She pointed at the records. Did you steal from Sterling? No. Did you move the money? I moved investments. Without telling me? I was protecting the company. From what? From collapse. I laughed quietly. That's interesting. Adrian glared at me. What's interesting? Your excuse. You don't know anything about my work. I know enough. I placed another document on the table. This proves you changed the terms of Sterling's largest supplier contracts. Daniel looked at the pages. Why? To create artificial losses. Victoria looked at me. Why would he do that? I answered quietly. To make Sterling look weaker. Adrian shouted, that's not true. I looked at him. Then explain the merger. He froze. Victoria slowly turned toward him. What merger? Adrian said nothing. I continued. You weakened Sterling. I pointed at the documents. Then you moved assets. I placed another file down. Then you created a financial crisis. I looked directly at Victoria. Then you offered the solution. Her face went pale. The Blake Holdings merger. I nodded. Exactly. Daniel stared at Adrian. You plan to take control. Adrian's silence answered him. Daniel's voice became furious. Security. Adrian stepped forward. Wait. 2 security officers entered. Adrian looked at Victoria. You have to listen to me. Victoria didn't move. Victoria. She stared at him. How long? He swallowed. What? How long were you planning this? I wasn't. Don't lie to me. I did what I had to do. To take my company? To save it. You created the crisis. Adrian's expression collapsed. I was trying to survive. You were trying to control me. Victoria, please. She stepped away. Get out. Adrian looked at her. Victoria. Get out of my company. The security officers grabbed his arms. He looked at me. This isn't over. I stared back. No. It isn't. He was dragged toward the door. Before leaving, he shouted, You think you're better than me? I didn't answer. The door closed. Silence returned. Everyone looked at me. Daniel slowly sat down. Mr. Cole. Yes. I owe you an apology. For what? I underestimated you. I shook my head. You're not the only one. Victoria looked at me. I couldn't meet her eyes. The meeting continued for another hour. We discussed financing, legal action, asset recovery, the future of Sterling Global. I answered every question. I remained calm, professional, cold. But inside I felt nothing. Adrian was exposed. His plan had failed. Victoria's company was saved. Everything I had imagined would happen finally happened. Yet I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel victorious. I only felt tired. When the meeting ended, Victoria approached me. Ethan. I gathered my documents. Not now. Please. I stopped. She looked exhausted. Can we talk? About business? No. Then I don't think we should. She stepped closer. I need to explain. You've explained enough. No. Her voice broke. I haven't. I looked at her. She was crying. I had seen Victoria cry before. But this was different. She looked lost. I was ashamed. I said nothing. Of what? Of us. The answer hurt more than I expected. She continued. I was ashamed of the difference between us. I looked away. You had money. I had a simple life. You had powerful friends. I didn't. You knew how to speak to people in your world. I didn't care about your world. I know. She wiped her tears. That's what made me afraid. Why? Because I thought everyone would judge me. For loving me? Yes. I stared at her. She whispered, I was afraid you would never belong in my world. I took a slow breath. You were wrong. She looked at me. I never wanted to belong in your world. Her eyes filled again. I wanted you to build a world with me. She covered her mouth. I continued. That's all I ever wanted. I know. No. She looked at me. You don't. I do. You only know now. She nodded. You're right. I picked up my folder. She grabbed my hand. Don't go. I looked down at her fingers. Victoria. Please. I can't. Why? Because I don't know if I can trust you. I can change. Maybe. I will. You said that before. I know. She stepped closer. Give me another chance. I stared at her. For one dangerous second I wanted to say yes. I remembered our first coffee. Our first kiss. The night she cried against my shoulder. The mornings we spent together. The stupid arguments. The laughter. The life we had built. I could forgive her. Maybe. But forgiveness wasn't the same as forgetting. Victoria. Yes. I want to forgive you. She looked hopeful. But I can't do it today. Her expression fell. Why? Because I need to understand something. What? Did you know? She froze. Know what? About Adrian. I didn't know everything. That's not what I asked. She looked away. I stepped closer. Did you see warning signs? Silence. Victoria. She closed her eyes. Yes. My heart sank. How many? I don't know. Did people warn you? Some. Did you listen? She whispered, no. Why? Because I trusted him. You trusted him more than the people who warned you? At the time, yes. Even when the numbers didn't make sense? I thought I could fix it. Even when the contracts changed? I thought there was an explanation. Even when your company started losing money? I believed Adrian. I stared at her. That's the problem. She began crying again. Ethan, I made a mistake. No. I shook my head. You made choices. I was wrong. Yes. I was weak. Yes. I was afraid. Yes. She looked at me. But I never wanted to hurt you. I believe you. Then stay. I closed my eyes. That's not enough. What do you mean? I can't decide your future for you. She stared at me. You have to face the consequences of your choices. I will. Even if I leave? She hesitated. Yes. Even if I never come back? Her lips trembled. Yes. I nodded. Then maybe there's hope. She looked at me. Hope for what? I don't know. I turned toward the door. Ethan. I stopped. Her voice was barely a whisper. If you leave me now, will you ever come back? I looked at her. I remembered the woman I loved. The woman who had broken me. The woman who had finally admitted why. I wanted to promise her everything. I wanted to walk away forever. Instead, I gave her the only honest answer I had. I don't know. I opened the door. Then I left. This time, I didn't feel like I was running away. I was simply refusing to decide a future that belonged to both of us. And somewhere inside me, I knew the hardest battle was no longer about revenge. It was about whether love could survive the truth. I returned to Apex Dynamics the morning after I left Sterling Global. Marcus was waiting outside my office. He looked at me. How do you feel? Tired. That's it. I put my briefcase down. That's enough. He followed me inside. Sterling survived. I know. The banks released the credit. Good. Adrian's under investigation. Good. Victoria stepped down. I stopped. What? Temporarily. Why? She says she needs to rebuild trust. I looked toward the window. That's probably the right decision. Marcus studied me. You're not happy. I never wanted her destroyed. She hurt you. Yes. She called you nobody. Yes. And now she knows who you are. I shook my head. That's not my victory. Then what is? I looked at him. Being able to walk away. Marcus smiled. You're finally learning. Don't ruin the moment. He laughed. I returned to work. For the next few months I built my future. Apex went public. The deal succeeded. My name became public. People finally learned who I was. Reporters asked questions. Why did you hide for so long? I answered honestly. I wanted to build something before I became the story. Someone asked, did you hide your identity from someone you loved? I paused. Yes. Why? Because I wanted to know if she loved me. Did she? I looked at the cameras. That's complicated. I never mentioned Victoria by name. I didn't need to. Everyone eventually found out. Sterling Global survived. But its reputation suffered. Daniel gave a public statement. I watched it from my office. Mr. Cole saved Sterling Global during our most difficult moment, Daniel said. I underestimated him and I regret that mistake. Marcus stood beside me. That's quite an apology. I turned off the screen. It came too late. Maybe. I looked at the blank television. But at least he said it. A week later, I received a letter. There was no company logo. No expensive envelope. Just my name. I opened it. Ethan, I'm not writing to ask you to come back. I stopped reading. Then I continued. For the first time, I understand that loving someone doesn't mean owning their place in my life. I sat down. I used to believe that people belonged in different worlds. I measured success by money. I measured respect by power. I measured people by the names they carried. I was wrong. I swallowed. I started therapy. I'm learning why I was so afraid of being judged. I'm learning why I hurt the person who loved me most. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect another chance. I only want you to know that I'm trying to become someone better. Not for you. For myself. I reached the final line. If you ever want to see me again, I'll be at the coffee shop where we first met. There was no date. No demand. No pressure. Just an invitation. I folded the letter. Marcus looked at me. You're going? I don't know. You've already decided. I looked at him. How? Because you folded the letter instead of throwing it away. I sighed. I hate when you're right. That's because I'm always right. Don't push it. 3 days later, I went to the coffee shop. I sat at our old table. 10 minutes passed. Then the door opened. Victoria walked inside. I almost didn't recognize her. No bodyguards. No expensive jewelry. No entourage. Just Victoria. She saw me. She smiled nervously. Hi. Hi. She sat across from me. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then she said, "Thank you for coming." I almost didn't. I know. How? Because I almost didn't come either. I smiled. That's honest. I'm trying to be. I looked at her. How are you? Better. Therapy. Yes. Is it helping? Some days. And the other days? I learned to keep going. I nodded. That's good. She looked at me. I don't want your money. I know. I don't want your company. I know. I don't even want you to forgive me. I became silent. She took a breath. I just wanted you to know that I finally understand what I lost. I looked down. Victoria. Yes. I still love you. Her eyes filled with tears. I continued. But love alone can't rebuild trust. She nodded. I know. Trust takes time. I know. And sometimes it doesn't come back. I know. I looked at her. Do you really? Yes. How? Because I'm finally learning that I can't demand anything from you. I stayed quiet. She continued. I used to think if I loved you enough, you belonged beside me. That's not love. I know. Love isn't ownership. I know. Then what is it? She looked at me. Choice. I nodded slowly. That's a good answer. I learned it from losing you. I looked away. Don't make me responsible for your growth. I'm not. Good. I am responsible for it. That answer surprised me. She smiled sadly. I finally understand something else. What? You never needed to belong in my world. No. You wanted us to build our own. Yes. I was too afraid to do that. Yes. She wiped away a tear. I don't expect you to come back. Good. I don't expect you to wait. Good. I don't expect you to promise me anything. Good. She laughed softly. You're still difficult. You knew that. I did. I looked at her. Are you happy? She thought for a moment. I'm learning how to be. That's enough. She looked at me. Are you? Am I what? Happy? I considered the question. Yes. Without me? Yes. Her smile was painful. That's good. It took time. I know. I had to learn something. What? I spent too long trying to prove my worth to someone who didn't understand it. She lowered her head. I understand now. I know. But you don't need my understanding anymore. No. Does that hurt? Sometimes. Why? Because I loved you. I know. I still do. I know. But I'm not broken anymore. Victoria looked up. That's all I ever wanted for you. No. She frowned. What? That's what I wanted for myself. She nodded. You're right. We sat in silence. Then I stood. She looked at me. Is this goodbye? For now. Will I ever see you again? I don't know. She smiled sadly. You really like that answer. It's the only honest one. I reached the door. Victoria called my name. Ethan. I turned. If we ever get another chance. She waited. I finished the thought. It won't be because you're a billionaire. She nodded. And it won't be because I'm the CEO of Apex. She nodded again. It will only happen if we meet again as two people who have changed. Two people? Not a billionaire and her nobody. Her eyes filled with tears. You're right. I opened the door. Ethan? Yes. Thank you. For what? For walking away. I stared at her. She continued. You taught me that losing someone can be a beginning. I nodded. Take care of yourself. You too. I walked outside. The morning air was cold. For a moment, I stood on the sidewalk where our story had started. I felt pain. But I wasn't broken. That was the difference. I had spent months believing my greatest victory would be seeing Victoria regret losing me. I was wrong. My greatest victory was realizing I never needed her approval. I had never been nobody. Not when she loved me. Not when she rejected me. Not when she finally discovered my wealth. I had always been Ethan. The man who built his own company. The man who loved deeply. The man who stayed when things became difficult. The man who finally walked away when staying meant losing himself. I looked back at the coffee shop. Victoria was still sitting at our old table. I could have gone back. Maybe someday I would. Maybe I wouldn't. For once I didn't need to know. I turned and started walking. My heart still hurt. But I carried that pain differently now. I didn't carry it as proof that I had lost. I carried it as proof that I had loved. And as I disappeared into the morning crowd, I finally understood the truth Victoria had taken 3 years to teach me. My worth had never depended on whether she recognized it. I had known who I was all along. I just needed to stop asking someone else to confirm it.